Now, what is your name, please?
Dr. B, as in boy, Arkela Revels. And there's three meanings for Arkela. One in African language, Arkela, and then one is in Syrian, meaning little flower, and the other one is in Punjabi, which is a language um, of the Punjabi people. And when I had a class with a student, a friend of mine, he just laughed so hard every time he called me. And I said, "What's the matter with this fella?" And he says, "That word means banana in my language. So every time I'm calling you, I feel like I'm calling you a banana." So it has those kind of meanings.
Who are the Punjabi people?
Well, they are, when India split up, that's when there was Pakistan. And the language in Pakistan is Punjabi.
Okay. Now, how many ethnics are you?
Ooh, um, Spanish on my grandfather's side, Native American on his side, English on my mother's side, and also Native American because the slave mother was not African. She was Native American. So it's Native American on both sides. Then my mother's grandfather, the one that was married to the English granny, he was a former slave. So up until my mother's lineage, there were no African Americans, and so my mother had 9 siblings, but unfortunately she had a half sister, and they did not recognize her in the family. But I've talked to her daughter, and my cousin and I, we just boohooed when we found out about it. She's just 2 years older than I am, and we just feel like we missed so much of us. My cousin said we could have been the Three Musketeers, so we're going to bring her into the fold. And she has about 4 or 5 children, so she's probably about I'm 70, she's about 72.
So, what got you interested in genealogy?
My children and a homework assignment. They had to do a family heritage project. And anytime they had something to do, like a project, I did throw myself into helping them. So I went to my mother and asked her, what was our lineage and what, the family line was and so forth. And she sat me down and began to tell me. And because she had said at the family reunion, yeah, our grandmother is English. But they talked about that and it didn't go very far. So I sat down and made that homemade chart, and I had to come back like to the trough and the well every day and to get a little bit down, a little bit more. As I took notes on the page, I would fill it into my little homemade chart. And after I did it, I'm so sorry that I didn't join it. I did go to the library one time and looked up on my father's side a sister, and I sent it to the people who was looking for that name, but they never responded. So with that name Chitty and so forth, I just don't think they would respond back in the 70s. So, I encourage anyone, and I've started the organization DAGS, Detroit African American Genealogy Society. And because I was dormant and debilitated for 14 years, I would like to bring other home people into the fold that could be interested in it. So I've been on the Detroit Channel 33. I've been down to the city hall congressional council meeting and was interviewed on Channel 33. So I would like to get a newsletter started and have occasional meeting and tell them where the various societies that meet annually. And I think, because I have been at Cobo Hall at a function, and even when I was here yesterday, we have a list of people who are interested in joining. So we're going to do on the computer, their names and everything, and so that we can keep up with them and send them a newsletter. Because even like here and like the Fred Hart in Detroit, I was so debilitated that I didn't go to join them. And now that I'm better, I would like to occasionally go and mingle with them. And I would recommend people who want to join DAGS to also go and join Fred Hart. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm here to encourage. And our Wayne County Community College have been itching to get me to do a workshop. So now I've been here and getting myself together. I'll probably take for continuing education and do some maybe courses for about 4 days or do a whole day workshop.
Are you familiar with the Burton collection?
Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with the Hackley collection?
No.
Within the Burton collection, there's a Hackley collection of Azalea Hackley. They have a Black History Month event for about the past 70 years in Detroit, down on Woodward there.
Okay.
And I hadn't been, walking through the library and started reading this stuff. My last name was Hackley. And by me attending that and reading the books about her life, it took me way back to pre-slavery days. But anyway, why is it important that just any person of any ethnicity know their genealogical background? Why is that important? What does that do for them today?
I think that knowing that makes us a better person. We can know more about our health because from the slave mother up until my generation, my daughter, my son, my grandson, we've had diabetes. And knowing that fact and generations of it, if you don't become a diabetic, you need to live as if you're diabetic so you don't become one. And that's my theory to tell people for their family's sake and health because it's so important. Yeah.
So are you suggesting that if a person knows that they have certain type of health conditions in their family, if they reacted as if they have it and started fighting it before they get it,
Right.
that they won't get it?
Having a powerful attitude about your life. And it's no more than watching your diet, getting plenty rest, seeing your doctor on time, having the doctor check your feet. That's grossly important. And, just general things that you do anyway. And the diabetic diet is so important because you learn to exchange. It's not one thing all the time. If you don't like the bread, you eat potatoes or rice and that kind of thing. So I think I've been 3 years. I go to the doctor, and she's just shocked that I am normal. I hit that 6.0. She just whoa bad, And I went to a second doctor. He was excited about me testing normal. And that can be.
One last question. A lot of people, well, no, once you started doing this, what have you found out about yourself or about your family that you always had suspicions of, but by you doing research, you found out that, that's why we're like this?
Sure, the diabetes. I was blaming the English folks because they had the sugar in the kitchen and had the slaves probably beating cakes and pies and puddings and things. But when I really began to research the Native American mother, because they're full of diabetes also. They have a huge diabetic problem in their culture. So I blended that and with my mom, and us. Because of my mother and 8 other siblings, half of them were diabetics. So there's 6 generations.
All right, so what's next on the agenda for you? Okay, you've come to Fort Wayne here. What are you doing? What are you going to be doing to remain active to get your stories out? I saw that you are a storyteller, a lecturer. You do different things like that to, I guess, empower and enlighten the communities. What's next on your agenda? What are you doing next?
Well, I also do literary performance, and that's taking poetry and various essays and performing with it. Back in the day when I was younger, I could memorize probably 80% of my material. I could speak an hour and 15 minutes, and I would do that at University of Iowa and places here in Detroit. I even would go to a bar during African American History Month, and when I first started, reciting the material or reading, they were still clicking glasses and talking, and then somebody said, shh, and they would stop, and they were enthused to hear my material by Langston Hughes and different other artists, so it's even entertaining, and people start paying attention to it. I think if we retain our very good artists from the Renaissance era, that we need to incorporate that in our classes and everything because there's some wise wisdom words there, and I think we need to incorporate them still in our learning.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.